What is going on, the CloverTac crew and the Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Ghost and Tactical Podcast, Ghost and Clover Podcast. This is season 2, episode 13. Today's date for the record book is Sunday, August 11th, 2024. Yes, you are not seeing things. This is 2 weeks in a row. If you weren't here last week, then you probably didn't know, but we're going back to back right now because we have other commitments next Sunday that we wouldn't be able to make our regularly scheduled podcast. We're doing it back to back this week. We're giving you back to back episodes. So we know that it's a little bit weird, but hopefully you guys don't mind. We are live on YouTube, streaming to over 150 countries worldwide. If you are watching this in replay or listening to this in podcast form, we do invite you to join the live chat every other Sunday. And it's a cool crowd. It's a good audience out there. Be part of the dark side. But if you were going to catch it in podcasts, we are both members of the Firearms Radio Network, and you can also find us over on the Self Defense Radio Network. Both of these platforms have great pro gun podcasts. Go check those out over there. Before we jump in and bring Clover in, we do want to say thank you for always supporting both of our projects and our sponsors. This podcast is powered by our good friends over at EAA at European American Armory. So a big shout out to them. We'll talk about them here in a little bit. And for those that are new to the show, my name is Trey with Ghost Tactical, and I'll be your tour guide for tonight. And we'll bring in Clover in here and let him take it away, if you will. But if you're out there in the live chat, go ahead and say something. We do not know that you're out there unless you do. And make sure you stick around because one of you guys will be selected to give us our third topic. Our third segment is the random viewer topic provided that you guys are still here, and that one's sponsored by our good friends over at Monstrum Tactical, and we'll talk more about that here as well. But for now, let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the connoisseur of cheese, apparently. What's up, Clove?
The show where even we don't know the topics.
Right? This is true. We have no idea what's going to happen tonight.
It's always fun. Always fun going in blind.
I spend most of my life going into things blind because I'm not very smart, but it is fun. It is fun. It's, you live life a little bit easier when you don't know or don't care what's going to happen,
Right.
You've been doing all right? How's everything good?
Yeah. Been very little rain. So,
yeah.
But been a lot of work around the property and yard work and things like that the last few days, which kind of sucked too. That's what sucks about summertime, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the only time to do it, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to do it, unfortunately.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. So for those of you that are new to the podcast, we both bring a topic that neither one of us knows about, obviously, and we talk about that for a few minutes. And then, like I said, our third topic is brought to you guys. So, Clove, you have the first topic tonight. So what are we going to talk about?
I do. So I've been playing around with high points a lot lately, among some other things. But this is the year of the 30 super carry and the high point, apparently.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, and I haven't gotten a lot of hate, but you get a lot of hate, and so I thought I want to dive down a rabbit hole. I'm curious your thoughts. I mean, just a conversation, not a top five or our favorites, just a conversation. Your thoughts, the thoughts out there in the chat. Why do you think it is that people shit all over budget, cheap stuff? I mean, it could be firearms, it could be optics, it could be anything, but particularly in the as related to firearms, right? Whether you got you got the high points, the Taurus stuff. There's people that badmouth the Taurus. Heck, there's people that badmouth the Gersons and the TSOS and the Turcanelli stuff, and and for the most part, the average gun owner out there, those will do fine. They'll do what they need to do. They'll hold up. They'll last. They'll be accurate enough. They'll be reliable enough. Why? Why do you think it is?
I think that, my opinion, I think there's two reasons. I think one, that's what they hear other people say.
Hmm.
Whether it's people on YouTube or just their buddies and all that, the people that they think are more educated or maybe have more experience in firearms, and they hear some people say, "Oh, well, this is trash and this is trash," and just because it's cheap, it's trash. And so they just assume, even though they may not have, probably don't have any experience with said products, right? But honestly, I think the biggest reason is that people are wannabe snobs. Um, they just assume, probably because they've been trained, whether it's through advertising and marketing by the companies or the industry or whatever. I think that they've been trained to say that cheaper is worse and more expensive is better. And I'm not going to lie, are there some cases that are like that? Absolutely. Obviously, there are, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they all fit underneath that umbrella. And two, it doesn't mean that just because you spend more that you're getting a more bigger value for your money. Sometimes the cheaper stuff are bigger value per dollar than you are if you're spending 3 times, 5 times, 10 times as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, got some good ones out there in the chat. Let's go do it right quick.
Yeah.
Rod or maybe Shelly or both, good friends. We just doesn't care out there. They mock what they don't know about. Absolutely, I believe that to be true. Our buddy Kyle out there with Anderson says lack of knowledge. So yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Mr. West, one aspect there's people that equate price with quality. I would agree with that. And two A boys in the house. Says a lot of it is the hate bandwagon. I think that's where you came in on that one with watching other videos and things like that. You've got you've got certain channels out there that they hate everything that they get their hands on. You've got channels that
Right.
love everything they get their hands on. You got the channels that don't really give an opinion one way or another. They just do something weird and shoot iPads or something and have fun.
Yeah.
And then you've got the channels that try to give their give some perspective and insight and try to be fair, right?
Sure.
And I definitely get that along with some of the hate. I mean, you get so and so, reviewed this and they had this problem or that problem or this problem. And it's like, well, you don't really know what so and so did, off camera. You don't really know,
Yeah.
all the ins and outs and details. And admittedly, you don't know it with what I'm doing either,
Yeah.
right? Um, what gets me is, and this is it was kind of a trick question there. Kind of tricked you
Yeah.
a little bit.
I'm
Um,
easy. You know this. I'm a very dumb
but
person, and I'm very
but
easily tricked.
I think you kind of seen it coming because you said they what'd you say they want to be bougie or they want to be they
Yeah,
want
I think they want to be like in the elitist.
yeah
They
yeah yeah yeah
want to be
yeah
snobs almost. You know.
wannabe snobs is what you said, and it was interesting you said wannabe because the same people in the same breath will comment on something like, let's say, a Henry. "Oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth that much," or so whatever. I mean, you pick something. The Witness 2311, which is, let's be honest, is priced absolutely right for 2311.
Sure.
It's too expensive for what it is. Too expensive. Too expensive. Well, make up your fucking minds, people. Is it is
Right.
is
Yeah.
like, what do you want out of it? If you don't like the cheap stuff because it's cheap garbage, and the expensive stuff is too expensive, like, what do you want? A gripe, just a gripe? And I think ultimately, um, it's the internet culture. And unless
Oh yeah.
somebody is being negative and being contrary and that sort of thing, um, people are so closed minded nowadays, I think, that
Yeah.
they have their perspectives, and what's crazy is they're so involved in their perspective that, talking about their own perspective, not able to absorb and understand other people's, they're so invested in their own perspective, that they can't see that they box themselves in like that. They can't see that now they box themselves in. They hate the cheap stuff. They hate the expensive stuff. There's nothing left.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is it was funny because I was at the gun shop a few days ago picking up a gun, and there was a kid, and I'm not going to say kid. I want to say he's probably maybe like mid to late 20s. So for me, he's still a kid, right? There was a kid in there, and he was looking at different guns, and I was filling out paperwork and just kind of shooting the shit with the gun guy, the crew at the gun shop, and so one of the guys walks over and says, "Hey man, can I help you? Find anything?" And he's like, "Oh, well, do you have this and this and this?" And I'm not, I'm okay. Well, he was like, "Do you have like any CZs or SIGs or HKs and all that?" And he goes, "Yeah, we've got these over here, these over here." And he goes, "What are you looking for?" And he goes, "I don't really know, but I know that I want to have a SIG or a CZ or HK." And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this kid doesn't even know what he wants, but he's already been brainwashed, right?
Three totally different platforms too.
Three totally different platforms.
They're not even similar.
No. I mean, you could have gone HK, SIG, and Glock, and at least been in the same ballpark, right? Maybe I'm just saying in the same
but
ballpark.
HK and Glock.
Let's say a P320 is in the same ballpark as a Glock, right? So
maybe, maybe.
Maybe not the 226 and all that. But anyways, so he's just like, and so the guy's like, okay, well, we've got this. And they had a 226, and they had a VP9, and they had a few different CZs to choose from and all that. And he goes, what are you looking for? Like, you looking for full sizes on a carry? And he goes, yeah, I don't really know. Just and he goes like, oh, well, how did you come up with those three names? And he goes, those are the ones that I know.
Right.
Which is fine. Like, I mean, he was honest. He was like, these are the names that I've heard of. But what I'm getting to is, like, how did those three brands be the three that he's heard of? And what made him believe that these are the ones that I have to get? Is it marketing? Is it advertising? Is it YouTubers? What is it that this seemingly person that's new to guns has already made his mind up that it's going to be one of these three?
Yeah. And it's easy to tell. It's easy to tell those people that I've dealt with that.
And this isn't cheap guns, so it's kind of off the subject, but it kind of goes into the brainwashing, right?
No. This was I wanted this to be a conversation, and out there in the chat, I'm going to bring some more comments up here in a second, because there's some good ones. There's some good conversation.
Yeah, really good ones.
2A boys. I think this goes to what I was. I'll read it though. It says it's just keyboard warriors. They're never leave their computer, actually run the guns, and they're just complaining about that. Wasn't the one. There was one. Here we go.
He's not wrong though. He's not wrong though.
So no, not wrong. So definitely worth a read. Kyle out there says I agree with Ghost, and I think a lot of these guys want to sound like they're the subject matter expert. Says it's easy to sound like an experienced operator behind a screen, and to that, two things. Number one is I've run into those people over my lifetime that if you mention, let's say, a Bursa, let's say you mention it wouldn't have been a Gerson. And speaking of that, Cheap Trick Chase is out there with EAA. So the industry is representing today. It's nice.
A couple companies out there.
So, but anyway, you mentioned something like a Bursa. You mentioned something like not a Gerson, because that's kind of been too long ago, but Tanfolio, for example. Something along those lines. And they say, huh? Because all the guns they're talking about are Colt, Remington, Winchester, Glock, Smith and Wesson,
right? Ruger. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, Ruger. It's like you mention anything off the beaten path, right? Anything, outside of those huge companies that's been around absolutely forever, that spends tons and tons on marketing and advertising, and they have no clue what they're talking about, right? They what? And they tell them themselves.
Well, that's that cheap imported stuff.
Another one that comes up comes to mind in this topic that we're talking about was, I had a comment, and I don't remember verbatim what it said, but it was crapping all over Beretta 92s. And any Beretta 92 design that had a slide mounted safety. Now, I will grant anybody out there that you may not like the slide mounted safety, but to say that it's dangerous, and a piece of garbage and all of this because it's got a slide mounted safety, you went a little too far. And I tried to bring this person back around to perspective. that, hey, that's
Sure.
preference, and I got no problem with it. I got Taurus PT92s with frame mounted instead of slide mounted. Gerson makes them as well with also with both. You can get both in the Gerson regards. Um, and this person come back with he's a retired law enforcement, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck who you are.
Right.
Like, what does that have to do with anything? You're retired law
Right.
enforcement, so everybody needs to listen to your opinion. Like, that doesn't mean,
A
I'm
retired law
sorry,
enforcement means that he
but I
might have
don't
shot his gun
care.
3 times in 3 years to qualify,
Like, I don't care if you're retired law enforcement or you're retired military or you're retired, worked for whatever factory, or I don't care. When you say stupid things like that, you've completely negated any type of backup you try to give me, any type of
Yeah.
credentialing you try to give me. Once you take something that is perspective, opinion, preference based, and you try
Yep.
to turn it into some type of an objective argument, screw
Yep.
you. Like, you just want to be cantankerous. That's the only explanation to it.
Yep. A couple things out there. Rod out there says, yeah, years ago, I used to hear a lot about Canics being trashed because they were terrorist guns. Yeah, I remember that one. I do remember that. That was 2018, 2017.
Uh-huh.
I'd heard about that. Kyle out there says it's Reddit, social media groups, and other forums. I've seen quite a few people trying to get into the 2A community and asking for help, and they get trolled right out of their own conversation.
Yeah.
That's an interesting badly. That's an interesting thing to say because that might come up later. Just saying.
Yeah, that's
Let's see
and
here.
that's bad, and that's why we have to be really careful, and that's why those a lot of things that kind of led me to, hey, I want to talk about this on the Ghost and Clover. It's
Yeah,
because even on Armed Citizen, I
yeah.
guess it was this last week. I think it was Jacob, maybe
Jacob.
Jacob's out there tonight, but it said
Yep.
something about the cheapest gun that you would trust. And I said
Yep.
High Point,
High
hands
point.
down, without a doubt, High Point.
And we are,
Like,
and we were,
sorry,
well, several of us were like, well, yeah, because I mean, once again, be
would I
willing.
prefer you have something else?
Well,
Yeah, I
sure,
prefer you have something
sure.
else,
But be willing, and this is gonna go into my topic. So it's kind of an interesting transaction. This is happening in the transition, but be willing to try anything before you make up your mind. Right? Just be
yeah,
willing to try it.
yeah. Now, Scott out there, Scott brought up something earlier, and I'll address that even though I don't have it up. But Scott says, one thing I learned that cheap gun companies don't last that long. What I mean by that, the ones that are just out to make a fast buck. You'd have to give me some examples of companies because I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about the Ring of Fire companies, they just change hands amongst family members for decades and
Yeah.
decades, so they didn't really go out of business. If you're talking about High Point, that's been around forever. Started as B Miller Industries and in the late '80s, mid late '80s, and ended up being the High Point we know today. And but Scott did bring up some post World War II, basically what they attacked with the Gun Control Act of 1968 and
Yeah.
the Saturday Night Special, so to speak, that was being imported. Now, a lot of those were absolutely poor quality, and a lot of the Ring of Fire guns were poor quality for sure.
Yeah.
So those are a bad example, but you don't see in any of the mainstream at all. You just really don't see. You see cheap stuff, right? High Point Heritage is another one that I would
Sure.
say
Yep.
with at least with their revolver line, 22 revolver line and stuff.
Yep.
But those are solid options. Solid
Well,
options.
you can go with the Maverick line of the Mossbergs. You know what I'm
True.
saying? It's for a lot of
Well,
people
or the
That
Turkish one.
Maverick is, or the Turkish one. But I'm saying for a lot of people, the Maverick's probably the first shotgun they ever owned. There's a lot
Yeah.
of people that would say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting that
Jacob said
people.
he didn't think it was him. Okay, well that's fine.
Well, yeah,
Somebody mentioned it.
he was asking a lot of questions that night, and all
Right.
that. So, but it is interesting that people, and this is going back to trying to bring it back full circle here. It is interesting that someone's going to be out there talking smack about a gun that they have most of the time zero, if anything, very little experience on. It's even sadder that people out there are going to listen to said person and make up their mind about companies, specific guns. Now, someone was talking about making a fast buck, and we all remember, after 2013, 2014, and all of that, there were a ton, there still are now, but there was for a few years was a huge influx of just all of a sudden these AR companies started popping out of people's garages, right? And I think that there were some of those that were just trying to maximize profit in a short time with ARs when they were the hot item, right? But the industry and everything does seem to kind of fix that. Are there people out there to try to make a quick buck? Yeah, but if you're also talking about gun companies, there's no such thing as making a quick buck because there's a lot of money that goes into the R&D of the first gun. It takes a lot of money and a lot of time. So there is no such thing as a quick buck in the industry. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, and it's that goes into something else. I know we got to move on, but that goes into something else with dealing with the high points is getting the wishers, right? Oh, I wish they would do this, and I wish they would do that, and I wish they would do this. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, first of all, you hear that all the time on any gun, regardless, that there's somebody out there that wish there was some off the wall thing that doesn't make any sense for them to do. The old Colt magazines to fit the Henry Homesteader. That was one I was thinking, really? You want Henry to invest money to make it accept Colt magazines that like nobody literally has nowadays? That don't make any sense. But on the High Point thing, it's like, look, High Point puts out a good product. The price is 100% completely fair. The warranty is absolutely excellent. And somehow you want them to do all of this fancy stuff with their handguns and take $150 handgun, and by the time R&D is involved in all the things they need to do, instead of just staying in their lane and continuing on, you want them to do something that causes a High Point now to be $500 instead of $150. That's what you're saying. And let's be honest, even if those people that usually make those wish list suggestions, even if they got their way and they were able to talk that company into doing that, I doubt very seriously they would actually buy one.
Of course not.
And the companies we talk to,
because it's easier to hate.
It's just easier to I want. It gives them a reason. Oh, I'd buy it if it had this. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Quit kidding yourself. You're making excuses.
Exactly.
But speaking of the regards we talked about earlier, Chase is out there. EAA is powering the podcast. Let's talk about EAA. We'll see them here in just a few days.
Just a few days. Yeah, we all Chase is out there. We'll see him. We'll see Kyle. We'll see Rod. We'll see a bunch of these people. And if you're out there in the audience, the live audience, and you're going to be at Goals this weekend, Knoxville, this next weekend, let us know. Let us know that you're going to be there and all that. We know there's going to be some people that obviously Kyle and Chase and Rod and all that, we're going to be there. But yeah, we want to hear if you're going to be out there. But yeah, EAA, we're talking about, you brought up the Witness 2311, you brought up the Regard, Gerson is a company. And you brought up in the beginning the Turkish guns. And there's a lot of people that just say Turkish guns equals bad, or Turkish guns equals this, or Turkish guns equal that. And are there Turkish guns? Yes. Are there American guns that are equally the same? Yes. Are there German and Austrian and all that guns that are not the greatest? Sure. But we do know from experience that Gerson is putting out quality products. And what I love about EAA and Gerson, the relationship between EAA and Gerson, is they listen to each other. A lot of importers just bring in the guns. A lot of the manufacturers over there don't care what anyone says. They just want to make the guns they want to make. EAA does have influence on designs and quality controls and all that. Keith's over there so much that
once a month,
he might as well just have a damn house over there. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I think like once a month or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's one of those things where they do have input, and kudos to Gerson for allowing Chase and Paul and Keith and all these guys to have input, not only in designs but in ideas. Say, hey, we got a bunch of people asking about this. Is this something we want to do? I love that.
Wes out there saying he checked them out. He says, man, the regard in the Stormtrooper flight is sweet. Let's be honest, just about anything in Stormtrooper white.
Anything in white's pretty sweet.
It really is. It really is. But I would agree that the regards, are pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, you've got the regards, and regardless of what people want to say, I think superior to especially a low end Beretta 92. The Gerson is the better, just hands down.
Well, they took the things that work for the Beretta and kept those and improved on. And I'm a Beretta fan. Everyone knows this. I'm a bit of a fanboy, if you will. I would call me a fanboy. But let's be honest, it's not a perfect gun by any means. So they were able to take some of the things that either weren't great designs or weren't practical in the design or whatever, and make improvements, or at least make improvements to what they think or they wished, would be on that 92,
Yep. And of course they're knocking it out with the 1911 line, the 2011, the
P35 high power lines.
Yeah, there's the shotguns, the high power line, you name it. They're doing some crazy, insane stuff, and the distributor specials too.
Yeah.
OMG at the amount of distributor specials that come through. I see stuff, and we talk with Chase and Paul, and talk with them pretty regular over there at EAA, and I don't know how they keep up with all of that kind of stuff, because I'll just be looking around, whatever distributor or, site or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap, what is this? Like, it's got gold and it's engraved and it's got pearl, or it's like, I didn't know this existed, and it's obviously it was a special edition for that particular distributor that they ordered, but there's some really cool stuff. And what is interesting, if you want unique, that's the way to go. If you want Gerson and you want unique, look around at some of the distributor specials when they come through, because
you're talking about these distributor specials.
They don't make very many of those.
Yeah, they might be like 250 in the world that'll ever be made ever.
Yeah,
and you're talking about collectibles, right? And they're like literally not one off, but they're damn near one off. So there's only 250 of them ever going to be made in the world. That's a pretty cool thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you like to brag about things at the range, right?
Yeah, right.
That's one of them. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So shout out again, big thanks to European American Armory, EAA. Go follow them on these socials, so to speak.
Yeah.
Probably at EAA Corp is where you're gonna find them. But if you do,
you can at least search EAA Corp everywhere, and you'll find them.
Do your little searchity search. You have to get through the video game company EAA, but once you get past that EAA, it should pop up. Shouldn't be a problem. So real quick, if you're out there, the third and final segment of the night, one of you gals out there will be able to chime in and let us know what you want to talk about for the third segment of the evening, and we will let you know when that's ready to go down. So have your topics in mind, about what you want to get an idea of what you want the third and final topic to be, should you be chosen for that, and that'll help speed things along when the time comes.
That's right.
You're up, man. What do you got?
Yeah. So obviously this week is goals, and looking forward to seeing our friends in the industry, our friends out there that are in the chats all the time, our buddies that are in the media as well. There's going to be a lot of people there, and looking forward to seeing everybody. And this is the first year for GOA's goals, so it'll be fun to see that. Are they accepting walk-ins pay at the door for goals? Yes, they are. It's a $25 fee, which basically gets you a year membership. But Jacob, if you're interested in going, get a hold of me or Clover. Okay.
But you got to be
but you got to,
100%.
if you're going to go,
sure.
if you're going to definitely go, get a hold of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, talking about goals, and we're not going to talk necessarily about goals, but what we are going to talk about is kind of is ironic that we were kind of talking about what your topic was, but mine was going to be, there's a lot of people that this might be the first kind of show / expo that they're going to. They not, obviously most people can't go to SHOT. A lot of people don't go to NRA. So for a lot of people maybe on the East Coast that really haven't had the chance to go to one of these big industry events, what I was wanting to do is kind of get your thoughts and feelings on, for people that this might be their first, not in the media, but in general, this might be their first industry event. What are some companies out there that aren't the SIGs of the world, aren't the Glocks, aren't the Smith and Wessons and all that, but what are some of these companies that we work with, that we like, that we talk about and all that, that if this is their first industry show, that they probably want to go check out? And we're talking about companies that do give value for the money, right? What are some companies out there that you say, hey, if this is your first industry show, then you need to go check out these guys at this booth? So I want to kind of talk about some of these companies that we would hope people go and check out.
Well, I don't have the list in front of me, so I will bring that up. I'll try to bring that up. Let's see.
Let's see here. Vendors. So there's a ton of them, obviously. Gideon, Matador Arms, Henry, Optimum 5150, Anderson, Bond.
Yeah, we can just go down.
Yeah.
So Gideon, I mean, that pops out really, really quick. Great people over there at Gideon.
Yeah.
If you're looking for optics for, handguns, rifles, red dots. Yeah, Gideon, I mean, the people are great. They listen to feedback from creators on stuff. They are really starting to expand the product line. I don't know how far they've got with stuff in production, but for the money, hard to go wrong with Gideon if you want to get into the optic game. Anderson, I see on the list there, really quick, and we talk a lot about ARs and entry level and that sort of stuff. And there are a lot of companies that have kind of come into the fold after the fact.
Yep.
But when you talk about Anderson, and Anderson does have some budget line stuff. Anderson, without saying who they make for, right?
Right.
Anderson makes a lot of stuff for a lot of companies that are held in higher prestige, let's just say, right, than Anderson. People will dump on an Anderson rifle and they'll praise this other one, and they don't realize that the vast majority of this other one is freaking Anderson. Exactly. So, go ahead and I think for the money, I think solid one there. EAA pops up on the list real quick too.
Yep.
And with the EAA, you've got we just talked about them, so doesn't have to say a whole lot. The Grisan line, certainly budget friendly, and certainly rock solid for the money. And then Global Ordnance, I see, is on the list. So I'll stop at Global Ordnance and let you talk about it too. But on the ammunition side, especially, Global Ordnance pretty regularly has some banging deals. And the Grand Power line of stuff that Global Ordnance carries as far as firearms, they've got some pretty unique, pretty cool things over there. The 10 millimeter that has the rotating barrel,
right?
Like the Berettas, and a 10 millimeter. Like, sign me up. That thing is, I have one. That thing is awesome, right? So
absolutely,
it's a pretty good line as well. And all of those companies, if you walk into their booth at Goals, all of those companies will be very friendly and talk your head off, and they're not going to look down on you, and they're going to answer your questions.
Real quick, Scott wants to know, is Right-On going to be there? I looked through the list and I did not see Right-On Optics, so they're not on the list. That doesn't mean much. I don't know when that list was updated. They might be sharing a booth with someone else, but they're not listed on the website that I'm looking at, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Kyle, this needs to be on the t-shirt. You need to talk to Jennifer. He says, if it ain't a pony, it's a phony. That should be a great slogan for Anderson. I'm just saying that's pretty good. That's pretty good. At
Stand
least
by
maybe
for
a sticker or something, you know?
stand by for the standby on that. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
I don't know if you're seeing anybody on that list yet. I've got another one here that
Oh, I've
can,
seen a bunch. Yeah, I was just answering those
we
questions. You got Cox Arms out there with Michael Cox. He's a Marine. Great rifle, the EMR rifle I've got. It's fantastic. Axel out there is fantastic hearing aid. And then too, I'm going through companies that just don't normally jump out I'm not saying I work with them. It's just products that I personally use. I've been using a Min 2 mags now for about 3 or 4 years with ARs, and they're going to be there. It's a great mag company talking about inexpensive mags, but great quality. Fantastic. Let's see here. I'm going through. Faxon's going to be there. Now, I remember these from TrigCon last year. Was it the Gun Nuts?
Yeah.
I didn't talk with them or whatever, but I know that a lot of people that you and Snob and some of the guys said that their little loader is pretty amazing.
got a couple of them, and yeah, go check out, especially if you're new to firearms. Go check out Gun Nuts for sure. And with Goals, you can buy at Goals, so I'd be
Yeah,
willing
you
to bet
can.
you're able
Yeah.
to buy one of those loaders there. Um, you talk about save your fingers, man. And they're really quick. Once you get the hang of them, how they work, really, really quick.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. One I'm seeing here that is kind of gets overlooked. If we're talking about the new firearm owners. When we go medical, that's very adjacent to being a new
Oh yeah.
firearm owner.
Sure.
You're on the range. I mean, you definitely want that IFAC. You want a trauma kit. You want, something for your own personal use for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's a good thing to have certain things to carry on body or things in the car anyway. So definitely something if you're into firearms that you need to start thinking about pretty quickly. I think is the medical gear. My Medic will be there, which is one of, if not the best in the game. The way that their kits are organized and the way that you're able to customize the kits. They've got base kits, and then it kind of goes up from there depending on what kind of customization you want. And it's just very well done, the system that they have for their kits. And they're good folks too. So you'll be able to walk into that booth and have a great conversation.
Post show. Obviously, we've talked about EAA. Anderson. For those of you that have seen Rod and Shelly, Aegis Gun Care out in a lot of our chats for years and years and years, very dear friends of ours personally, obviously, and of the channels, but personally, they're very dear friends of both of us. But they're going to have a booth there. So make sure you go check out Aegis. Is going to have a booth there. Yeah, there's so many different ones. Stroop Knives, I think, is going to be there, and those are phenomenal knives. And there's going to be a ton of really cool organizations, whether they're charities or just a lot of veteran organizations. If you're out there and you like veteran organizations and all of that, there's a bunch of them. Did you bring up Mountain Man? Is that who you said?
I didn't bring up
because you talked medical. Mountain Man's good friends of ours over at concealcarry.com, Umbrella, Jacob and all those guys over at Mountain Man Medical. They've got some really cool stuff. And I know they've got, I don't know when it's coming, but I know that they have said that there's going to be 1 or 2 new product kind of launches or announcements at Goals over at Mountain Man Medical. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, they have, man, they've got, it's all under the concealcarry.com banner, but they have, holsters. They have, shot timers. They have batteries. They have these rechargeable batteries that are one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. They're USB recharge. They look like a regular battery, but they have a USB port on them to charge them up. It's crazy. The medical kits are, and I don't think Jacob and them would mind me saying this. I personally prefer my Medic stuff and the way that it's organized and everything. But the quality of the Mountain Man Medical stuff is on par with I'd say the quality is on par. I don't
Yeah.
like the organization the way it's. And you would just have to go look at the med kits and compare them to see what I'm talking about. But that would be my only downfall to that. But definitely good people and got tons and tons of products. And by looking at the list, it looks like all of their sub brands or whatever you want to call it are going to be represented there. So.
Yeah, we are. And I'm not sure if they've got one big booth to do all their brands, or they're separating the different brands into. I imagine it's probably a maybe a 20 by 20 or something. I don't know. But to have all of them under one would be smart. That's how I would do it. At least be easier. Kyle was of Riker's gonna be there. They're not. He's got a training date this coming weekend. He will not be there. We're gonna try to get him there next year for sure. Jacob says, what top 3 booths do you want to meet with, and top 3 people to see at goals? I don't ever do that. I don't ever do like what are the booths that I want to see, because I mean there's going to be booths that I want to see. But I mean, this doesn't sound bad, but between all the shows, like I can go see those booths anytime I want. So typically what I would say is this: I can't wait, because usually by about lunchtime of the first day, between all of our crew, there's 10, 20 of us that kind of are always in contact. There's going to be something that everyone's talking about. There's going to be a few items that like, hey man, did you go see this? Go see this. So that's what I'm looking for, is what's going to be the 2 or 3 items that everyone's like, oh my God, did you see that? That's pretty cool. That's what I wait for. And as far as people to see, I don't go there to say I can't wait to see this person, except for my friends. It's all like, I'm not saying that I don't want to see anyone. I love seeing people, but the only people that I care that I want to see are my friends. And that sounds crazy, but I love seeing my friends. I love giving them hugs and all of that, and playing practical jokes on them, and all the stuff that we do as a crew. I just enjoy seeing everybody. Now, I do look forward to meeting new people and look forward to seeing people all over. But the only people that I look forward to, like I gotta see, are my homies, and that's kind of weird, but that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some stuff. I wouldn't say looking forward to, like from a fanboy standpoint or anything like that, but from like a needing to get work done. There's several that'll be there that I need to have some pretty serious conversations with. Hollow Sun, I've got to talk to them. It's going to be nice to see, and that's more of a friend thing, but it's going to be nice to see the folks from Fort Scott.
Yep.
We did not get down in the basement
At all
for shit at SHOT Show. So,
yep.
That all sucked. And I'm trying to think, but I know there's a couple of others. I know Hollow Sun was one of them, but there was a couple others. It's like, yeah, I need to get by there. I've already kind of talked with some people that know some people, and I'm like, yeah, I need to make that happen. Vertex was one of them as well. But at the end of the day, it's more about when you're excited to see somebody, it's your friends, whether that's fellow creators like the Hens, like Gizzard and Snob and Sarge and OB, or Chris on 740, or
Steve, Mr. Big Kid's going to be there. I get to see Opie, and
or the 2A boys out there, for example.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of people out there.
Yeah, Opie will be there, so that'll be kind of cool. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I know it sounds bad, but I mean, like, I don't get excited about seeing people unless they're my friends. It's just, now, is it fun to, like, one of the funniest experiences I've ever had is almost getting killed at SHOT about 3 or 4 years ago. Walking from one meeting probably to the next meeting with a pit stop outside to smoke with Clover. This was kind of how we roll. Is we both have meetings. Hey, I got another meeting, but hey, you got time to smoke? Sure, let's go out and see each other real quick. And catch each other up, and I was probably texting with him or something. My head was in my phone. And if people have been to SHOT know that there's so many people. Having your head in your phone is never a good idea, especially when you're walking around a corner and you run into what you think is a wall, because it knocks you back and almost knocked me down on the ground. And it was not a wall officially. It was Goldberg. And that's a big son of a bitch. And I was like, oh snap. And I didn't realize I was like, sorry, man, sorry. And I look back and it's Goldberg, and he was a big gun guy. And I was like, oh shit. Hey man, how's it going? And I just, hey, sorry about that. Nice to meet you, So I guess I was excited after the fact because I wasn't expecting at this time. I didn't realize that Goldberg was a gun guy. I'd never seen him at SHOT. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. And seeing someone that you didn't know belonged there, and you realize, oh, cool. I had no idea that they were gun guys. And it's like, now I like them even more. That's kind of cool,
Well, you might have the opportunity to run into Kane at this one.
This is true. I wouldn't know what he looks like if I know the name, but I don't know who he is. Like, so I'm assuming if you're 6'8", 350 pounds, you're going to stick out in the crowd, right?
Yeah. Right. So that begs the question.
Yeah.
Which would be worse? Chime in the chat. This is just something fun. But, or in replay in the comment below. Which would be worse? A jackhammer from Goldberg or a choke slam from Kane?
For me, because I don't know hardly anything about Kane. I guess the throat slam or a spear. There's a part of me that knows that I probably wouldn't ever walk again and I might die, but I wouldn't want to be speared by Goldberg,
Goldberg would do yeah. Well, Kane would also do. Yeah, Kane had a bunch of different.
What was the move called? I know you called it what it was, but I don't know what Goldberg's move was. What was it called? A jackknife? A jackhammer. Okay, yeah. That'd be kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, and maybe the choke slam from Kane would be cool, but I don't know what that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Goldberg's 6'5". I don't think he's as tall as people think. I'm a small dude, and he's probably a good 6'2", 6'3". But he's a large individual. So yeah. A punch from Mike Tyson? No, I don't want to die. No. Here's the thing about getting jackhammered or choke slammed by the wrestlers. They know how to do it to make it look real and not necessarily kill someone. You get hit by Tyson, you're dying. Like the average person dies in a punch from Tyson.
Wrestling moves require both. It requires care and precision on the part of the one executing the move, and care and precision on the part of the one taking the fall.
That's correct. Yes.
Like, you have to know how to fall. You have to know how to assist them, so you don't so they don't hurt themselves, and then you have to assist them so they don't hurt you. And but I've got I'm looking forward to getting the Kane rookie card signed. I think
that'd be
talked
cool
about that, but I've got a little because of the CloverTac card channel. I kind of started a thing where I've got all kind of collectible cards, I guess you could call it, because they're not all sports. And I've gotten a thing where I just get some things autographed every now and then. And so I do have a Kane.
I've got a couple cards that I have here waiting to get autographed when I see some of them. So
eventually, yeah,
hopefully.
But so that'll be fun. I'm assuming he will indulge me and do that. We're gonna hope. We're gonna hope that he will, and hopefully he signs at Kane and not whatever Kane
says. Wait, it's not real. It's as real as you want it to be, man.
It's definitely athletic. I can say that about wrestling for sure. That they are definitely athletes.
100%. Well, Goldberg played football at University of Georgia. The Rock played at University of Miami. I mean, like, these are athletic people.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah.
They're not just, they're incredibly athletic. One of the most athletic people that's ever wrestled has got him. One of my favorites was Rey Mysterio. And if you think it's easy to fly around like some of these people did, man, you got to be incredibly athletic to do that stuff for sure. And like you said, even the person that's receiving the move or the hit, they've got to be incredibly athletic or they are going to get hurt. I mean, you've got to be able to fall a correct way. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Both sides have to be, very cognitive of what's going on. I remember seeing an interview with Undertaker one time, and he said the scariest match he's ever had was he was fighting. I think he said it was either Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock. I can't remember. I want to say it was The Rock, but there was a match that the Undertaker was talking about, and what had happened was whoever the opponent was had accidentally kind of gone too deep into the corner and like bumped his head on the metal post of the ring and kind of concussed himself. And he said, you learn very quickly, like when someone's not right in the head. Well, that changes everything, because what do? You can't just stop the match. And you can't sit there and have a conversation, with that person, say, are you okay? You okay? You okay? And you can't really maybe change the script, but you have to, because that guy might not be ready for the moves and could get seriously hurt at that point. So it's kind of interesting, Baron Von Raschke. I don't know, who that is. So it must be a wrestling guy. All right. If you're going to go to Goals, like I said, there's a lot of good companies. Can't wait to see everybody. Let us know if you're going to be there. Come find us. Yeah, let's say hello. Let's take a picture and all that and hug it out. Right now, if you're out there, you have an opportunity to give us the last topic. It could be pretty much anything you want that won't get us kicked off of the internet. And you guys know which topics those. It can be anything, but have them ready. All you got to do is type 13 into the chat. We're going to give you a couple minutes, a minute or so, to type 13 in the chat. And if you get chosen, you've got about 30 seconds or so to give us the topic. It could be anything. We could talk about pink leotards if you want, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to talk about, as long as it is not going to get us kicked off platforms, we will talk about. Even if we don't know what the hell it is we're talking about, we'll talk about it.
Right.
Right. And this is brought to you by our good friends over at Monstrum Tactical, and Clover brought up Monstrum in great quality. I don't remember seeing them. Are they going to be at Goals there? I don't remember seeing their name on the list.
They're not. Not. No. And I reached out to Chris. I never heard back from him. So they're either busy.
They're probably busy.
He may be out of the country dealing with some things.
This is true.
With the manufacturing facility. I mean, you never know with Chris what's going on. But I did reach out recently.
They stay pretty.
Yeah, busy. I got the 1 to found a home for the 1 to 6. 1 to 8 Banshee was already on. That's the LPBO for those that don't know.
Yes,
the Monstrum Banshee. Already had the 1 to 10 on the MFT version of the Versa BAR 15. And
mine on the Anderson front line over there.
And got the 1 to 6 on the Magpul version that came in recently. So got them all dialed in, and you may or may not see those on the channel actually on the video drop tomorrow, but got them dialed in. And man, I talk about it all the time, but the reticle designs with Monstrum, they pride themselves on that, with coming up with unique and crazy and weird reticle designs. And the reticles in the Banshee, I just love the four-corner design. I just love that.
Yeah, for sure. I just put on a couple days ago. I just put on the Vader, which is just a simple tube red dot. But I put that on the lever action. I want to have fun with that.
Yeah.
and I put on the same one the Arc Saber lighting system on. So I've got two different Monstrum products on that lever action, and that video will be coming out probably after obviously we get back from
Yeah.
goals. But yeah, I've got the Vader red dot and the I think it's called the Arc Saber. I might be I'm pretty sure almost 100% it's Arc Saber. But the lighting system, the M-Lock lighting system that's on there, it's pretty cool. So looking forward to doing
I've
that as well.
Yeah, I've got to eventually find a home for the Monstrum Cyborg, which is their Prism.
Yep, absolutely.
I've eventually got to find a home for it. I've played around with it on a few different things, and I don't like the way it looks on those things. It had nothing to do with how the
I've got
optic
mine on
works.
my
It
X-Star.
works great.
I put it
Yeah,
on
but
my X-Star.
I've got the Ghost though on my X Star.
Oh, there you
Monstrum
go.
Ghost.
Okay, yeah.
It looks better, right?
No, I get it.
Um,
Sure, yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. The way it looks on the particular, I haven't found anything. And you guys out there and gals, you probably know what I'm talking about with this too. But you put an optic on something, and sometimes the optic's fine. It may work great. You don't get any problems with the way it works,
Just
but it
looks
just you don't
different.
like the way it looks. It's like I don't like the way
Absolutely.
it looks on that particular firearm. And that Monstrum, the Cyborg, I mean, is kind of a square, kind of a blocky looking
Hmm.
prism sight. And I don't know. I just gotta. Eventually, I'll find something that I'll put it on and it'll look great, and I'm off to the races, and it'll serve me well. But
Absolutely.
so far, I just hadn't haven't, haven't found it. It's killing me.
All right, we've got people out there that have typed in 13. Let's give it a spin. Let's see who our lucky winner tonight is. And no whammies, no whammies. And when I say whammies, no chase, because I'm a little scared of what the topic would be.
So yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this. No whammies. And she fires. I'm pretty sure she's still out there. I just saw her say something not too long ago.
She
So
did, like literally like 4 minutes ago.
yeah. So
Girl, give us a topic.
I almost said her name. I don't know if she wants her name out there. So I'm glad I
It's
stopped
everywhere
right there.
else. So
Well, I
don't
know, but I don't. Yeah, I feel weird about saying people's actual names unless they're there to defend themselves. But yes, I hope she's going to be there. I think she's going to be there at goals as well. So looking forward to seeing her. She
she's got
makes
a
me
good one.
feel so good about myself because I feel tall around her. and I love
I'm
that
telling
about
you,
her.
I feel like Kane when I'm around her. Like I feel like I'm 7 foot tall for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Right. What's the question?
Do you prefer to go to the range by yourself or with someone?
Well, for me, it just depends. If I'm actually trying to get stuff done, then 100% by myself. I do enjoy going to the range with friends if it's going to be a fun thing where we're all going to bring some different guns and all that. 99.9% of the time, I'm going to the range for one of two reasons at this point in my life. One, to film content, or two, to blow off some steam and just relax. And both of those, I like being by myself 99.9% of the time.
Yeah, that's fair. I it kind of I'm the same way. It kind of depends, right? Um, if we're talking about a range like range at an event,
Oh, well, that I
um,
mean, yeah,
like
range days. Let's bring
like
everybody around. I
I
love
like
that.
hanging out with everybody, and I mean I love all
Absolutely.
that. When I don't have to worry about the range and safety and worry about all of the other stuff
Yeah.
going on. Yeah, when I that's on the RSOs and I could just be somebody there pulling triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely with people. Um, but if it's on my range or like you say, if I've got like some kind of objective I have to complete or something like that, it is definitely by myself. Um, it's work being on a range. I mean, I've been on a range with 300 kids before. So it's tough when you're in a situation like that. Um, I'll tell you another thing too is even when with the objectives thing aside, and you can chime in on this, since we kind of both feel the same way about this, with um, you being there on the range by yourself.
Uh-huh.
One of the things is I don't have to worry. Safety is still important. Don't get me wrong, but I don't have near the concerns because I'm the only one there.
Yeah.
So, I know where things are at. I know, I can pick it up, check it, set it back
Yeah.
down, pick it up, check it. I don't got to worry about anybody else. Did anybody else fiddle with it or fool with it? Um, I don't have to worry about as far as gear. Um,
Sure.
on range events, I like electronic with the amplification and stuff when I'm on the range with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to worry about batteries and are they charged and all and yada yada yada. If I'm on a range by myself, I just use the decibels, just the plugs, and pop in and go.
That's what I
Like,
use almost every
because
time, even now, to the
I don't
range.
have to worry
Love the
about being
decibels.
able to hear, or is hearing important, being able to hear other
Yeah.
people talk or have a conversation. Like, I don't have to worry about that, right?
Or don't
And
need to
so,
hear range comms if
yeah,
if no one's
right,
behind you.
yeah, ceasefires and other things. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. That was a
Yeah.
good
No,
question.
it is a great question, and I, like I said, I mean, I love in a range day situation. Yeah, it's the best to be around your buddies and all of that. But I think that most people that know me, like personally, and know me well, outside of my friends and family, I don't like people very much. It's in general,
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to
yeah,
be mean. I just
yeah,
I'm not a big I don't like people, especially so
yeah, yeah.
I love
So
being around my friends and family, but yeah, when I'm shooting, I enjoy being by myself. I guess I can say by myself for sure. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, pro tip for AHD. Says I prefer going with someone. I pay their entry fee on the condition that they walk around and pick up brass. So we got a
Hey,
brass goblin
if you're gonna
out
put
there.
them to work, then I'm all for free labor. Absolutely.
Pro tip,
Yeah.
kids, kids. I can't tell you the number of ranges that, whether it was brass or lead, literally got 5 gallon buckets. Well, 3 gallon, because 5 gallon is too much to even try to tote. But
Yeah.
3 gallon buckets of lead or 3 gallon buckets of brass when we would go to ranges, with their blessing, of course, that we pick all that up.
Yeah.
With my 4-H kids, oh, it was amazing. And then my kids, and then now my grandbabies, kiddos are the best, absolute best for picking up brass. So just saying.
Just on a palate cleanser and just to have a little bit of fun, our buddy Chase out there asked a question. Would you rather eat Skyline
Oh
chili included
God.
with every meal for the rest of your life, or the only media or movie that you could consume for the rest of your life is The Notebook? I'm going with The
That's easy.
Notebook. I
That's
feel that
easy. I go
strongly
notebook.
against Skyline chili that I'm going with. I'd rather watch The Notebook for the rest of my life than eat Skyline chili. Just saying.
I would agree, and we will indulge that question since this podcast is powered by European American Armory.
Yes.
We will indulge. Normally we don't, but we will do that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
agree
is
with you on
a
that. Fire up the
we're
notebook. Is all
gonna
I got to
try to
say.
make it. We're gonna try to get a little trap session going at range day with some Skyline chili. I don't know if it's gonna be allowed or not, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, you know what they say. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
This is true.
So
Just don't want anyone to die. So yeah.
right, right.
But just think of all the lives we'll be saving by killing Skyline chili.
But
Think
no
of all
kidding.
the lives we're
Yeah,
saving.
yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. What you got coming up
What's
before? I know you're leaving. We're gonna both be leaving, but what you got coming out media wise this week? Are you putting anything out, or are you gonna wait till after the
Yeah.
show?
So I did get, like I said, with the weather cooperating and other things, I've got the video drop for tomorrow scheduled, and I've got to get some YouTube pre-authorization on Thursday's drop, but I'll get that tomorrow. That won't be a problem. And Thursdays will be ready, even though I won't be around. So keep in mind out there, if you comment whatever on any of that stuff this week, you know where I'll be. So I may not necessarily have access or the comments and all that if I don't reply right away or whatever. That's what the deal is. Look for content, obviously. My goal at
Hit
goals. I know that
goals.
sounds funny,
Dun-dun-dun-ts.
but my goal at goals is to as every show, I will do some videos with stuff that obviously arrange day montage and do some stuff with some companies. That will come after goals. So don't look for any content during goals, except for maybe some shorts, either YouTube shorts, IG reels, or maybe short form over on X. Hopefully, had some issues with was it GunCon? I had some issues with GunCon. I think it was with getting the shorts done. It had to do with the
Well,
nature of that show and
you were in Iowa, so
some other things.
is there
Yeah,
even cell service in Iowa?
we were in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. But honestly, it had more to do with the nature of the show, and I did not have the downtime or whatever um to be able to do that in the evenings
Yeah,
or in the smoke break and the things like that, and to be able to get that done, it didn't allow for it, unfortunately.
right.
Goals, maybe at goals, and the
We
reason
don't
I
know.
say that,
We don't know.
well, the reason I say that is the wonderful thing about the goals for us on the media side is we have the media day on Friday.
Yeah,
And so if we can get our workload done, the videos that I need to get out to meet my commitments, then we've got Saturday and Sunday. So I should be able to sit in a corner and or whatever and upload some shorts. It shouldn't be a
yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, most of the next week we'll have some videos and stuff coming out afterwards, obviously. But my coverage of goals will be on X and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. But we're taking some pictures. We'll do some stills and all that, some pictures on Instagram and X. Do some short form videos on X and YouTube Shorts and Reels, Instagram, and all that. So yeah, just be watching because I won't be the only everyone. That's kind of where everyone's been going the last couple of years to cover events. Are those obviously there will be people putting out videos quickly during the show. I won't be. If I'm doing videos, it's going to be 30-second minute shorts or something. But yeah, be doing that. There was a question up there that asked if I'm still enjoying the Huckleberry. I put 100 rounds through it. I have not been able to get out since I shot that original video, but so far, the first 100 rounds, I've had zero hiccups. It's running like a champ. It's a fun thing to shoot. So, like I said, I put a red dot on it and a light system on there. So when I get back from goals, that's going to be one of the first videos. I've also got the new SOCOM compact from SAR USA that just came into the gun shop a couple days ago. Obviously, haven't had time. I've been really busy at work. All that stuff's going to come out after goals, but yeah, the Huckleberry so far has been a blast. I'm enjoying it. So, are they going to do any of the seminars live at Goals Online? I believe it's going to be on their YouTube channel. GOA's YouTube channel is going to carry most of the panels and seminars and all that stuff. So, be on the lookout. All information. I mean, it sounds bad, if we don't have the answers, it's all going to be at gunowners.org/goals, and they'll have schedules and all of that of everything. And from what I remember, Clove, I think John said they're going to be streaming all that stuff on their YouTube channel. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard him say that.
They're pretty media savvy, so I mean they may.
Yeah.
Okay. To answer Kyle's question there, no.
Don't know. Firearms Radio Network is setting up their podcasting equipment for members of the FRN that they could.
Yeah, but
you never know.
Live. It won't be live.
Well, you could if you wanted to, but probably not. But
well, they were talking about bringing a thumb drive or a thumb something to.
No, but I mean, if I wanted to set up a camera on a tripod and go live, we technically could.
Yeah, you could.
I don't like going live at shows because there's a lot of bad things that could happen in the background that you have no control over.
Yep. Exactly.
Unless you're like where we are, it's shot inside a booth that's controlled,
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yep. All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
Cheese. It's milk you chew.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.